All right. Well, thank you guys for joining. I know we have had a little bit of some lead time issues with this event. I was just on a training call, and I just wanted to share this with you. The project manager said this is like running with scissors. So they're feeling it as well. So I apologize for some of the ambiguity and for the lack of some of the information that we have. I'm going to share with you my screen and go through a couple of things. Hopefully, you can see this at this point right now. It's just a quick PowerPoint. I'm going to go through some of the material that I sent you guys yesterday. So that email had a lot of detail in it. And really what I want to do today is give you the opportunity to bang any questions off me. There's not a ton of newer information. There is some from when I sent that out yesterday at noon. But there's still probably a few questions that you have that I just want to make sure that I am tracking as well, because I probably have the same questions, but if not, I'll add them to my list and we'll try to get clarity for you on any of it. So I'm going to roll right into the general information. Let me get through like 2 or 3 slides, and then I'll open it up for questions if that's okay. So general information. So I tried to give you the context, but basically what's going on here is Pipeline Health, which is a parent holding corporation, is buying 3 hospitals from Tenet. The reason why I say it's a holding corporation is that's going to become relevant when we talk about the Cloudbreak software. But Pipeline Health, for purposes of this event, is going to be converting from the Tenet Cerner Millennium platform to Pipeline's Cerner Millennium platform. And as you know, this was originally one event that included 3 hospitals, 1 in Dallas and 2 in Chicago. It now will be 1 event in Dallas and then 1 event in Chicago about a week and a half from now. So we're going from Millennium to Millennium. We were asked to only support clinicals and PC networking portions of it. So we're not, I'm not even sure if they are doing financials, but we are not supporting the financial aspects of this at all. We have remote and on-site support, so it's a hybrid. And the piece that's a little concerning, that's cutting down to the wire, is the remote portion of it is going to be using some new technologies, and I'll explain that when I talk about the Cloudbreak software. Our involvement is going to be basically throughout the first week only. So they're only providing 1 week's worth of support for the post-live event, and our involvement based on the roles that we're in will be sporadic throughout that first week. So the PC support is 7 days. Some of the at-the-elbow support is 5 days, and some of the at-the-elbow support on site is only 3 days. So we have a variety of different mixes of what we're providing. The applications they asked us to be versed in: nursing, physician, reg, ED lab, radiology, and pharmacy. All right, so that's what they're going to be expecting, again, issues to come in on, and that's relevant as you talk about the Cloudbreak. So if you remember those 7 areas, I'll talk about that in a second. And then the event is expected to start at 12 a.m. September 18th. But there was some ambiguity around that. So it's basically Friday into Saturday. So 12 a.m. Saturday, so the 19th, but midnight Friday, depending on how you want to look at it. It's Friday evening. We're going to start at 11 p.m. The system will come down. So the Tenet system will come down for the last time 12 a.m. Saturday morning. Right? So Friday night into Saturday morning. 0200, so 2 a.m. Saturday morning, they expect to bring up the Pipeline Millennium system. So again, it's Friday night into Saturday morning. They kick around as it's September 18th, but it's the last minute of September 18th. It's really taking effect Saturday morning at 12 a.m. All right. So I just want to make sure we have clarity around that. Just I'll send this out, but just so you have it, Kim Stinson and Justin Robinette are going to be the overall Pipeline Health owners. This is just for reference. You don't need to contact them or anything, but if you're on site, this may be relevant. But if you see these names or any emails or anything, just so you know who they are. For the E4, for the folks that are going on site, the contact for the physician support will be Ossie Thomas. And I'll get contact information for these people. And the PC team is a gentleman named Ron Ropp. Okay, so those will be the 2 folks that will be providing direction and guidance and signing out work. and things like that for the on-site team. So it's only relevant to the folks that are going on site. And then from our perspective, you could always come to me. Right. So for anything, anytime during the week, anytime over the next couple of days, day, night, feel free to reach out. Okay. All right. So for the technology that we're going to be using for the remote video portion of it is a company called Cloudbreak Technology. This is relevant because Cloudbreak is owned by Pipeline Health. I'm sorry, Pipeline Holding. So Pipeline owns the hospitals and Pipeline owns Cloudbreak. Cloudbreak Technology is really a telehealth platform, and it's used for physicians, for nurses that are at a patient's bedside to reach specific physicians based on specialty. They branched out and created Cloudbreak IT. And what they're doing now, so if you think about how telehealth would work, if a nurse walked in with an iPad to a patient's bedside and they needed to speak to any kind of specialist, the device would have on it the specialist. And all they would do is push a button on the device, and that specialist's face would appear in a FaceTime type of meeting. And they would converse with the patient eyeball to eyeball via the Cloudbreak technology. So the Cloudbreak technology basically is a queuing technology. It's web-based, cloud-based, and it connects the patient to the physician. Specifically for this event, to get into this industry, they rewrote that front end to be able to connect a clinician, instead of to a doctor, to an IT person. And that's what we're going to be using. That's what the training was an hour ago. It was just to show you how that would work. So the way that they're envisioning this is they're going to put 33 devices at specific locations in Dallas, at the ambulatory clinics and at the acute settings, or at the acute locations. People would walk up to them and push the button based on the assistance they would need. So remember those 7 items that we had, like ED, pharmacy, radiology, clinicals. If they walk up to the device and they need clinical assistance, they'd push the button for clinicals, and that would go to one of you from a clinical perspective, or it would go to somebody from a pharmacy, it would go to somebody from ED. So whatever the specialty needed is, that's how the calls would be routed. That's the technology. It's very straightforward. I would encourage you, if you were not able to attend on the last hour's call, once I get it was recorded, I'll get that out to you guys. You can see it. It's only a 30-minute call, and you can see it's very straightforward. We are going to be, testing that tomorrow. So as I said, they're running with scissors. They're cutting this real close. They're testing it today, testing it tomorrow morning, and then they're going to test it with us tomorrow afternoon at some point. Okay. For the remote help desk team, we're going to be using Dialpad software. And this they have not shown to us yet, but my understanding here is this is like a voice over IP data-driven phone system where we would be added to that. And then as calls come into the help desk, we would basically be in their queue. So we would just be added to this pool of people. And as calls come in, it would just sequentially go through, or depending on how they set it up, the least used could be the first one that comes up next. So in other words, the person that has been idle for the longest might get the next call, or it could just be a sequential setup. So I don't know how they're going to use it from a routing perspective, but that's how the technology would work. What I don't know is if that call comes to you on your PC or if it comes to your cell phone. That I don't know yet. So we'll get that information hopefully today, at the latest tomorrow, because it will need to be loaded by tomorrow afternoon. All right. And then they are generating emails with Pipeline domain extensions for you guys so that you can log into their SharePoint site, and then you can see the orientation materials. So you'd have access to the same orientation and training materials that their team is using. I believe this is a fairly model system. That's typically the way I've seen these conversions go. There may be some things on it though with some localization that you need to know about, and that's what we'll be able to see on the SharePoint site. So once we have that information shared with us, we'll share it to you, and then you can go out there in the next 2 days and look at that material at your leisure. Okay. So current shift time. So 11 to 11 is what they're asking us for. I know that at least for one or two of you, that presents a challenge. But because of the way the software works, I think we can accommodate it. So we'll take those conversations offline, but I think we'll be okay. The only change is for the folks, for the physician support that's on site, they want to route that 7 to 7 instead of 11 to 11. So 7 a.m., 7 p.m. for those day shifts for the coaches that will be on site. There's two of you that'll be involved in that. All right. So that's all the new information that I have. We can open it up for questions now, or if Jen, if you have stuff you want to go through, we can. I'll kick it back to you.
I do have a couple things to go through, but I will, while I get set up, if anybody has any questions, feel free to speak up.
Hi. Hello, this is Kivia.
Hi, Kivia.
Hi.
Hi, guys. Explain to me exactly what we're supporting a device. What is the device called? Are we doing elbow support for Cerner, or are we supporting this actual device?
No, so think of it this way. The best way I could describe it to you is if you were on site, right? Somebody would walk up to you and ask you a question about your area of specialty, right? They would actually walk up to you and you could see them, talk to them eyeball to eyeball, and you could answer their questions.
Okay.
This device that's going to be put out there is meant to mimic that. So it's basically an iPad on a stand that's at like eye level.
Okay.
And on that device, there may be like 6 buttons on it that's based on application. So it could say ED, pharmacy, whatever it is. And now if I walk up to that device and I need to talk to an ED person because I have an ED question, I'd push the ED button. And then what would happen is the device would immediately fire up its camera. Well, basically, it's going to fire up a session with you because you're the ED person and you're logged in on your PC to the software via the web. So then all of a sudden you and I are eyeball to eyeball. We can see each other and we can talk. And I can ask you my ED question. And then you solve you solve the ED question, or if you can't, you'd kick it to someone else. But basically it's meant to replicate that face-to-face contact. If the device, you're not supporting that device at all. So if that device malfunctions, their IT shop has to support that device.
Yeah, that was my question. So would that go over to IT? So that's something for us to fix, of course. We would call it a ticket to the help desk or take that over to IT, correct?
Yeah. But if that device fails, it won't generate a call, right? You know what I mean? Like, so if the device is actually failing, somebody won't be able to use that device. So think of it again as like a person went to lunch, right? That person would no longer be available. Same thing with the device being malfunctioning. It's just not available, so they can't use it. They'd be down to 32 devices then that can use to call you guys. So that's how I would look at it. But if you once you get a call, all you're supporting is Cerner.
I'm on site. You're gonna it could be because she's on site, so she'll be there.
That was my question. I'm on site, so.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. So if you're on site, you don't have to deal with the devices at all.
Okay.
Yeah, they're just going to come up to you, and for the on-site, for the two of you that are on site, it's a whole different ballgame. You guys will just be talking to the docs specifically. Yeah.
Okay.
And you'll be dealing with only physicians.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right. Good question. Anybody else got anything for us? I'm moving on to more administrative things. So if you have questions about the actual scope of the project, now's your time. And Steve, just for everyone's awareness, you're going to be, for each group of you, there'll be some more targeted information. So for the folks going on site, you're going to obviously be getting packet of information with the address, your on-site contact, their contact information, the times you're supposed to be there, all that. And then for the folks who are remote, Steve's going to be reaching out to you tomorrow to test the software, whether that's the Cloudbreak or the Dialpad, make sure it's working correctly, walk you through the process and all that. So like he said, running with scissors, it's all going to come together, but it's going to be a little dicey here in the next couple of days while we pull it all together. All right, I'm going to move on to a couple administrative things. The first is Employee Navigator. Employee Navigator, you should have all received an email from Employee Navigator. Did anybody on the line actually see one of those emails yet? Maybe?
Yeah, signed up, everything.
You did, good. Okay, so Employee Navigator is just where it's just an employee platform. This is where you're going to complete all of your onboarding documents. This is important because we want to pay you. And in order to pay you, we need your W-4 and your direct deposit information. So I'm going to ask everybody to get this done by next Wednesday, the 23rd, so that we can get you paid on time. I'm going to give you a quick demo through the system. And I'm going to pick on somebody who's not here. Let's see. All right. So when you guys click that link, you're going to log in. It will look like this. It'll say, good morning, whoever you are, good afternoon. And all you need to do is go through a start task. It's going to run you through about 11 tasks that you need to complete. Most of them are just clicking through and accepting. So you go ahead and start. Like this first one, it's just going to say that you can, that you are okay with electronic signature and consent. You're going to review and accept your address. You will complete your W-4 on here for your filing status and tax withholding. If you have a state that requires an additional form, you will go through that. You will self-identify for EEOC purposes. You will put in your emergency contact. You will review our handbook and sexual harassment policy and sign off that you received it. And then these are the two important things. There's the direct deposit authorization form. This is a link. You're going to need to click the link. You will need to fill this form out and upload it back into the system. Once you click the link and once you click this link, an option will appear to upload this document back in. Once uploaded, this task is complete. Then you will need to upload a check or ACH routing information for us for the direct deposit. For most folks on the line, just a picture of a voided personal check will be fine. For those of you who don't have checks, you can go online. Most 99% of banks now, if you have an online portal, will have an option somewhere in your banking system for direct deposit authorization. It'll basically give you a what looks like a check in a PDF form, and you can download that or download it and then upload it into here, and that will suffice for that. And then the last one will be the HIPAA tip sheet. You just need to download that, and then you will be complete with your onboarding. Any questions on Employee Navigator? Okay. And the other part of paying you is going to be time entry. So we will have to have you submit some time for us. I'm going to walk you through our projector system. That's where we enter our time. A couple of things before I jump into that. I would strongly recommend that everyone submit their time daily and expenses. I know go lives get very hectic. Things change on a dime. If you wait, you might forget something you did or didn't do. So my advice to you would be to go in and submit your time every day. They are due, if we don't get them, by Saturday at midnight. So our week runs Sunday through Saturday. So we like to get all of our timesheets in by the end of the day Saturday. I realize this makes people working shifts on the weekends a little difficult. So I did just add a note there that if you're working Saturday 11P to Sunday 11A, go ahead and submit all of those hours for Sunday. They don't need to be submitting 1 hour for Saturday. And if you're working Saturday 11A to 11P, try to, do your best to get it in by midnight, but we're not gonna hunt you down. I mean, if you get it in by the next day, that should suffice. But just understand that Saturday night is really where we want to see all this time in. In addition to looking at your timesheets daily, we will be having a second level of validation to make sure you are doing what you say you're doing. It's a little difficult without any supervision and a bunch of remote workers. So we do trust you, but just so you know, we will be looking at timestamps in the system, and we will have you checking in and out with on-site contacts to verify that those times are lining up. All of the hours that you work between now and next Saturday are paid on 10/2. So put that in your calendar. We will pay you on 10/2. I would make sure you get all of your direct deposit information in, all of your time in on time, and should have no trouble getting you paid. You will have hours for today, so you're already earning, which is great. I will show you how to enter that in just a second. Payable versus non-payable time. Payable, meaning you're going to enter it into projected to get paid, includes all of this time spent in orientation, listening to either recorded or live meetings on functionality, time expenses. So this hour today you will be putting in for payment. Anytime you spent testing your access to the remote systems, I put a little caveat in there. If it's just like a 5-10 minute conversation, we don't typically expect to see those pop up. But if it's a decent amount of time, maybe 15 minutes or more, you can add that in. And there will be a SharePoint site where you can review materials. I know we're expecting a couple hours. Do you want to, Steve, does that sound about right to you?
Yeah, it looks about right. I'll know more once I see what they have out there, but that looks right. I mean, it could be 2 or 3 hours. I don't know what they have available. It's the Cerner training, and then it's any localization stuff.
Okay, so maybe more, but probably not like 8 hours or anything like that. So, what would not be payable would be the time you spend uploading documents into Employee Navigator, entering your time into Projector, or any travel time. Of course, though, the travel mileage, airfares, all those are reimbursable for those. So. Any questions on time entry before I switch into the system and show you what it looks like?
You again, I'm on the Projector website now, and I'm trying to see where I go to upload my information.
All right.
I'm a little confused.
So when you log in, does it look kind of like this?
Hold on, I'm trying to look at the screen now.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So your first link you'll get to is your home page. To enter your time, you're going to go to the top left-hand corner to topics.
Right.
And under delivery, you go to time entry.
Yeah, that's I understand that part. What do I upload my documents to my payroll, the W-4 forms? Like, what do I do that at?
Oh, that's a different system. That's Employee Navigator. You should
Employee
have gotten
Navigator.
one email from Employee Navigator and one email from Progressive.
Okay, I see it. Never mind. Go ahead. I see it now.
Okay,
Thank you.
good. Yeah, of course. All right, so when you enter your timesheet for the first time, it's going to look very blank, and you're going to go, what? Where am I supposed to enter my time? So first things first, make sure you're in the right week. It's just like an Excel spreadsheet. You're going to put the time worked in the column under the day that you worked it. But you're going to have to add a project. So let's use Desi here. What you do is you go to add a project or task, type in pipeline, or start typing pipeline, and the project you are assigned to will come up. So you're going to select that and add it to your timesheet. Now, all you need to do after this is enter, let's say we have, today, we're going to have 1.5 hours of work. This will include E4, orientation, and Cloudbreak demo. All right, and then his location, because he's at home, is going to be off-site. The only time you use it on-site is when you're actually on-site at the hospital. It's pretty straightforward. And so that's what you would do for today. Let's say Deji has a shift on Saturday. It's a 12-hour shift. I'm going to go ahead and just put 12. So you're putting in the total number of hours. And then he could put on-site support, location on-site, and then you can submit. So I had mentioned earlier that I will recommend that you do this every day. You can save this and submit it at the end of the week on Saturday, or you can submit it every time you put in an entry. The only thing about submitting a time, you can keep adding time, but once it's submitted, you can't move it out of it. You can't delete it. So right now I can come in here and delete cards and move things around. But until it's submitted, that's when it gets transferred over to us. So you could submit your timesheet. Like, let's say I take this out because this hasn't happened yet. I can submit this time card just as it is right now. I come in tomorrow, we'll look exactly the same. I'll add some hours for Thursday, submit it again. Add hours for Friday, submit it. Ooh, don't want to do it. You can keep submitting every day is my point. But if you just save it, then you will need to submit it by the end of the week. If we don't see the hours, you'll start getting calls and text messages from us. Will be very annoying until it gets done. So my advice stands. Please submit daily. Do not need to worry at all about this out of office. And for the folks who are actually going to be on site with expenses, we're going to go out of this is time entry. This one was called. To do your expense reports, you just go to expense reporting. Before I do that, let me delete this card. So again, when you come in here for the first time, it will look very blank. All you need to do is hit create an expense report. And then again, adding the project pipeline. It will show you the one that you're assigned to, and then we'll give you some expense types. So let's say that he's going to have some mileage. He will have a daily per diem, airfare. That looks about right. Okay. So then when he comes in here, let's say on Wednesday, he's driving in Friday. Mileage is the only one that's different. And you just go ahead and put in the total number of miles driven, and it calculates your mileage for you. Then you put in a description of what you did, and it'll say paid by me. For folks who have maybe an airfare that was paid by E4, there'll be an option that says paid by me, and they'll have an option that'll say paid by E4. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on this because I am going to help those folks through this process individually. But if you want to go ahead and get a jump on it, that's how you do it. All right. I think that covers everything on my end. Any questions about time entry? Any questions about the project in general? Concerns? Anything?
If you guys think of anything after this call and you want to reach out, hit me, text me, call me, anything. I'm pretty quick with email and texting, and I want to make sure I get all your questions answered. Again, I do know it's coming together at the real end of the planning cycle here, and I apologize for some of the craziness that's going on. I normally would have liked to have had a little more runway on it, but as you saw, there was some unfortunate events that occurred that threw the project team off a little bit, and they're doing the best they can. So they're coming together very close to the live event time, and it'll be a nail biter. So appreciate your willingness to deal with all that. And again, if there's anything I can do to help clarify anything, please feel free to reach out at your convenience. All right, anytime.
All right, folks, take care. We'll be talking soon.
All right, thank you guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.